At this stage in your learning, it's always nice to be able to get a hard copy of your drawing endeavors. In this video, we'll go over the basics of plotting your electronic drawing onto paper. We'll be covering plotting in more detail later on, but now we'll go over enough to get a quick copy of your drawing onto paper so it can be used for review. The first step is to realize that plotting is very similar to printing. Plotting usually refers to using a plotter to print large-scale sheet size, whereas printers are typically used for letter size sheets. There are many brands of plotters and printers, each with their own setups. We will discuss only the usage of a plotter printer from within AutoCAD. You should already have had a plotter or printer driver installed on your computer system. From now on, we'll refer only to plotter and plotting, but it could just as easily be a printer or printing. The steps for plotting are very basic, but there can be many settings that need to be adjusted to get the perfect output onto paper. For now, we'll only explain the few steps you'll need to get your drawing quickly onto paper. The steps are 1. Finalize the drawing, 2. Switch to a layout, 3. Page setup, 4. Review the layout, and 5. Plot. For finalizing the drawing, let's just open up my first dimension file. To make sure you're getting everything that you have drawn onto your layout, always use the zoom extents before you plot. Sometimes objects get drawn way out in drawing outer space, or in this case, outer model space, and you don't realize until you plot your drawing onto paper and everything is offset or too small and there's something very tiny in one corner of the sheet, the elusive outer space object. When you zoom extents, anything that is visible in your drawing will be shown on the drawing screen. So if the drawing looks odd when you use zoom extents, look around the edge of the drawing to see if an extra object that you don't really want. When you find it, erase it, and repeat the zoom extents until your drawing looks proper in the drawing area. Always save your drawing before you plot, just in case something goes wrong and the computer crashes. It can happen when AutoCAD can't communicate properly with the plotter. Double-click with your scroll wheel, and as you can see, our drawing's fine. Click Save. Now we need to switch to our layout so that we can actually lay out the sheet of paper. When you create objects, you're in model space. Notice the word model here, and notice the word model here. When you want to lay out your drawing, you click on a Layout tab. A drawing sheet appears on the screen, and a window, which is called a viewport, is also created in the middle of the sheet. It is a window into model space where your drawing lies. You should be able to see all the visible objects in your drawing filling the viewport. Later on, we'll discuss how to scale the viewport so that your drawing is at a specific scale. The viewport is an object just like a circle or a line. Click on it and hit the delete key, and it erases just like any object. Normally, we don't want to use the viewport created automatically. We would want to set up our drawing first and then create the viewport. Let's check some plot settings. Right-click on the Layout tab that you're in and click Page Setup Manager. When it appears, you can see you're in Layout 1. Click Modify, and the page setup for Layout 1 appears. Under Plotter Name, click, and you'll have your various plotters listed depending on what your drawing is set up for. For our purpose, we're just going to pick the universal printing. And if we click down on paper size, you can see we have a variety of sizes that would print on that particular type of printing device. If you had a plotter, you would get much larger area. For our purposes, we want to send it to a printer, so we're just going to pick letter. The other thing we need to check is the plot style table. Right now it's set to none, meaning there's no control over the color or tone of the lines that will be plotted. Pick on that. You have choices. AutoCAD, which will plot the lines in color if you have a color printer, but if you don't have a color printer, they'll come out very light and gray and hard to read. Typically for drawings, we want to use monochrome. Click on monochrome. There's a variety of other settings to set, but we don't need to make any changes to those at this stage. All we need to do at this point is click OK, and close the layout. The reason we did this was that a page setup can be stored with your drawing. So anytime you go to plot again, you'll have that setup ready. If we were to right click on the layout again, pick Setup Manager, and click Modify, you can see it has the settings that we just did. To retain those settings, you need to save the drawing.